My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity, theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. The reason why I'm capturing this video is because I want to make sure that you understand how the entity is stalking by the airport that remains on the south side of my person. And this is the pattern that you see. The people of the state are stalking in the path on the ground in concert with the entity. This is surveillance in the engineered environment. Not only that, this is the prosecution of CEASELESS Regis Group, and this is how I'm stating you will establish what is facilitating venues, establishments that are stalking. Okay, the building doesn't get up and walk where I go and travel as I go. The environment does. the government's gang stalking system does. Therefore, I will prosecute CEASELESS Regis Group Downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments for stalking, where the people of the state are maintaining surveillance as residents, as employees, as occupants, as those that are traveling in a relevant position. I'm prosecuting Downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments CEASELSS Regis Group while I'm being gang stalked at ARCO. They are in relevant position. The environment is following. The government is literally flying over the apartment building, where also the case against Downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments CEASELSS Regis Group will show that there are no plane takeoffs from the Ontario International Airport Terminal 2 or Terminal 4 that will include any manner, let alone this hovering manner, over this apartment where they are stalking in that environment, which science proves. Where the City of Ontario is also maintaining ongoing surveillance, which is a life, which CEASELSS Regis Group facilitates, 82QY787, and I'm going to prosecute them, the people of the state, those that are conspiring murder. This is a company that's engaging in the pattern of conduct, which is a conspiracy to murder, which is why it's no ordinary stalking conduct. Understand everything that you're going down for. This is P.O.C. This is engineer light in the middle of the road. I will prosecute you while the engineer light's on the building, while the fake sun's over the building, while the people of the state are gang stalking me, molesting me with light anywhere around your building. Be prepared, because that's the prosecution of the people. License 8GBL119, driving in the engineer light. CEASELSS Regis Group is being federally prosecuted. License plate 568DYB. That looks like a Vegas plate, not Las Vegas, Nevada. The entity, excuse me, not Las Vegas, Nevada, but the entity is engaged in that. I want to be clear. This is the removal. You are not protected. This is state action. That's a facilitating venue, not a private property. Everything that is ongoing is that which is in conformity to the government's pattern of conduct, and I will prosecute you as a third-party agent. You have zero protection, and there is no defense under the law. You have no privacy, and it is not private property. And while the entity exploits that law, which shall not be used to weaponize and preclude documentation for the entity that's seeking to conspire your murder, you're going to prosecute for that malicious iteration of the P.O.C. 8 LAS 744. None of them are living on private property. They're engaging in the government's pattern of conduct, which is the way in which the malicious design of this system, the government cloaking itself in the people. The people are demons themselves, the personification of that satanic system. It is currently, that was Southwest Airlines. Don't forget that. They're on the wrong side of history. They're going to regret all this. This is P.O.C. It's currently 8:23 a.m. What do we have over here? Where Prime is stalking me. A whole company that's going to be federally that's a RICO case. Of course, this is the fake sun that is not remaining over the parking lot of the Ontario Village Shopping Center, or over the Stater Brothers, aiming any sunlight underneath the structure into the door for the gang stalking purposes of the people whose role is to maintain activity in the engineer light, where they're monitoring and surrounding you while they are doing so. And it's proven, as I've shown, under the fake sun, which remains around me, over me, okay? That's why it's still here at this venue, the OVITT Library, where I'm inside of this venue after 4 and 5 o'clock in the evening, which is what I documented again yesterday. This is the P.O.C. It is currently, by the way, at 224 North Euclid Avenue. It's 8:29 a.m. You'll recall my documentation, 8:31 a.m. The entity is tracking my steps inside of a grocery store, where psychopaths that are engaging in this level of stalking, remember, criminal monitoring is even beyond following from place to place traditional stalking. This is an entity that is demon possessed. They're monitoring your thoughts. They're monitoring your body movement, your heartbeat, your breathing patterns, right? When you're at the level of consciousness you're at when you're sleeping, whether you are in REM sleep, for example, they know what's going on between your legs, monitoring your genitalia, creating activity pursuant to what's going on concerning your genitalia, which is how you know that. While they maintain engineer light, you are asking questions that you very well know the answer to while you're stalking in a grocery store on behalf of this entity that's not going to then lower in elevation west of this location at Stater Brothers to then do a cartwheel like they're doing over here. Psychopathic pacing, stalking in the sky space. They're demon. This is what the demon possessed are doing around me. It's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. They're mentally ill. That's what traffic is. That's what you're looking at. It's not traffic. And who are engaging in that? Very mentally ill. The Ontario Police Department, where the Nephilim will never be mistaken and nor be able to abuse positions that they are unfit to be in. City of Ontario, that is going to be in court to have Paul Leon officially removed from position. This is the mayor's conspiracy to murder an American citizen, while the city airport, the city police, the population, that community itself is serving in that criminal pattern of conduct. And you are asking questions while you are both monitoring me at the same time. And that is not any controversy. It's already proven. This is what Salvador Gomez is communicating all while he's making that malicious statement inside of that grocery store, Stater Brothers at 646 West Holt Boulevard, while I'm facing east looking at the fake sun, and at 646 West Holt Boulevard when I am facing an entirely different direction. And this is not over that grocery store. This is not going to be anywhere near that entrance where they're stalking, just like the Ontario Police and Southwest Airlines and Amazon Prime, tracking my steps to the degree that you're using the airport to stalk me as I walk out, while simultaneously asking me questions like a psychopath. Understand that that's psychologically harmful to the ordinary target individual. I know that you're stalking me, and then you're maliciously targeting, asking questions as though then you're going to call the police on me, while I am now, because all the gang members are trying to create a narrative, a malicious one, that I am targeting you somehow. This is what you're trying to contend by asking me questions that you know the answer to, while you're monitoring with the entity that's using literally helicopters and airplanes to follow me around. And that's presupposing that I don't have the evidence to prove it. But you're so delusional, you know that I have the evidence, and you're still relying on your outdated and expired narrative. You don't have a strategy when you're caught. And that's relevant to impunity. No one feels sorry for you. You're going to prison. This is what's relevant to what's happening at 8:31 yesterday at the same time, essentially. It's 8:32 a.m. I'm facing east. And the entity is stalking me east of what is the Stater Brothers entrance doors, where they are engaging what is flying at that direction to then engage in the same U-turn conic psychopathic pacing, which is what demons do. This is their mental illness that's no longer closeted. The Nephilim have been trying to be amongst normal human beings, trying to appear and fit in, hiding in their vessels. They're engaging in non-human behavior, and these are demon-possessed people. They're spirits. That's why they're engaging in this level, spending this time and resources on stalking one person. They know exactly who I am, the one that has the authority and the ability, the skill set to expose them, not just talk about what I know, but to prove it with tangible evidence. All right, this is a psychopath that will stand right in front of the camera. That's the entity that's being removed from law enforcement, okay? This cottonhead that's gang stalking under a fake sun, showing you their obsession with my vagina, admittedly engaging in what is criminal conduct. Only the mentally ill engage in that. And it is under no circumstances suggesting that you are not engaging in that pattern of conduct. Science is already speaking to that. So when you have those facts, this too, the diagnosis, which is what the evidence of the P.O.C. serves for. This is the pattern of conduct. It is currently 8:33 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, this is criminal summoning. This is light activity. Anthesis, you need to pay attention to that. They go inside of the library gang stalk with the Ontario Police Department as well, okay? Anthesis is monitoring with the people of the state. This is Sarah's Regis Group. This is the prosecution of Sarah's Regis Group, just like I showed you the airport flying over the building under the fake sun. The same fake sun is here after 4 p.m. That's what I captured on video yesterday. Impossible light activity. You are stalking with the police. And this is prison. This old biddy right here, license 7RZK211, and this is the psychopathic pacing. Okay, that's the P.O.C. This is convergent. This is Myers and Sons Highway Safety. This is the light activity. Anthesis are a bunch of demons that bring around the developmentally challenged to gang stalk with the Ontario Police inside of this venue where the fake sun is, I captured on video, after 4:50 p.m. That's the P.O.C. 71453 Robert 1. I'm going to prosecute Anthesis. They're engaging in state surveillance. And they're unfit to be in the medical field to maintain clients that they are engaging in, abusing the Welfare and Institutions Code, and they're doing it with the gang stalkers themselves, the Ontario Police Department. 8XME832. This is P.O.C. This is the psychopathic pacing, and they're doing so with the Ontario OVITT Family Community Library, okay? This is the entity that calls itself, they've already been prosecuted. I'm prosecuting for the entity that's engaging in ongoing acts of obstruction of justice. These are murderers and kidnappers that have been proven to be engaging in what I alleged at the beginning, failing and defaming, failing and proving that I'm dead somewhere while you were kidnapping me with San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, and you were doing this the whole time. Gang stalking. Okay, this is criminal summoning. That third party is stalking, and so are this white male. This is the agency. Mike LORENZ is going to prison. This is the fake sun. It's 9:59 a.m. I'm remaining inside of the parking lot of the Stater Brothers This is the entity that's engaged in what is an unlawful threat while they're engaged in the same psychopathic pacing out of this parking garage. VCXSE21, and they're stalking together. This is the entity that's engaging in that. You have Gerber, that's under this fake sun. Gerber's going to prison, and so is this demon right here. License 1614297, vehicle 1042. Gerber's at the Ontario Town Square after 6 p.m. His partner is gang stalking me on this street, Lemon Avenue, after 4 p.m. crossing path, gang stalking just like this. Turning on their traffic lights and pulling out a citation where they're engaging in the same elements of monitoring in the supernatural environment and showing you how they are outside of any due process rights, not engaging in the execution of the duties of officers, where they are maliciously engaging in what is a means of facilitating violence, criminal activity, and they're also doing so while the entity is demon possessed. So I want to be clear. The entity is engaged in this pattern of conduct. Don't forget A. Casada under the 12:14 p.m. fake sun monitoring my vagina at OVIT. Don't forget about the demons gang stalking at 1:07 p.m. June of 2025 daylight savings time, gang stalking me while the entity is keeping the fake sun over me. And this is Edwards that knows he's going to prison. He committed kidnapping on this same street at 7:15 in the morning at the Starbucks at 534 North Euclid Avenue. He is going to prison, and this is the entity that is a liability. Okay, they engage in criminal activity on their own, and they engage in more of it while they already know that they're caught. This is the pattern of conduct. I want to be clear. 9PKZ408, 9NYK259, 9SIJ672. This is a third party she's monitoring. This is a federal case against the people of the state. The citation is literally used to prosecute. All right, license 9LQH207. They're still stalking with impossible light. They're doing so while the entity, look at the fake sun moving around. It's not over the OVITT Family Community Library, where Starla is over. Starla's going to prison. She's also gang stalking me in the parking lot of the OVIT, where the entity is using helicopter activity, gang stalking me, and she's committing sexual assault and battery. Like she is right now, because that's not the sun. It's not engineer. It's engineer light. 8MED131, criminal summoning and furtherance of murder and kidnapping. This is L. Edwards that's engaging what is kidnapping from the Starbucks. They're all engaging in surveillance with the Ontario Police Department. Okay, that's the P.O.C. All right, it is currently, by the way, 10:03 a.m. You can talk to him about all he wants because I'll prosecute you. You don't have any authority while you're pointing at me and monitoring my vagina. You and L. Edwards, that's P.O.C. This is L. Edwards. He know he's going to prison, and he is. So is Alex Escobar. Operation device, impossible light. This is a demon. And 9SIJ672. They're going to prison. You see, he's calling me by name. He's here gang stalking me under the fake sun. Yes? You want me to do that because why?
Because you're blocking traffic. Cars keep stopping.
Because
you're in the street.
You're in the street.
Yeah, I have my lights on.
And what does that mean?
Look, cars coming. You're in the street.
You're not engaging in what is the duties of an officer though? While you're here threatening my safety and you're engaging what is telling me to move out of the street. That's audible activity. While you're monitoring the impossible light activity, you see her operating her device. She's here stalking. This is a vagina monitor. She's pregnant, but she's a closeted homosexual monitoring and stalking another woman. Doing so while she's doing so with the Ontario Police Department prison. She's going to federal prison where she could be around the rest of them and be violated around women that she likes to violate others. She's a gang stalker, okay? With fake Prada on her phone, gang stalking, that's the brokest thing you can do. She's pathetic. This is the entity gang stalking with the Ontario Police. These are ghettos. These are brokies. These are little thugs, wannabes, demons. This is the Nephilim. This is P.O.C. They were engaging in surveillance the whole time, obsessed with me, obsessed with my every movement, obsessed with my vagina, stalking me in bathrooms, pulling out her phone because this is an opportunity to be around Erica Spencer, the one that she's obsessed with. Gang stalking as a whole department. That's what L. Edwards is engaging. That's why they use their planes and their helicopters. That's the pattern of conduct. Let's document this because this homosexual predator right here, who is with child, is gang stalking with the whole government. This is P.O.C. It's pathetic. Okay, that's the pattern of L. Edwards and that department is engaging in together. They're all sitting here monitoring as I walk inside of the OVITT Family Community Library, and they do this while they are sore about all the evidence, the damning evidence, where this entity knows that they're going to prison. Ontario Police, Michael, they know that they're going to federal prison. The people of the state know they're going to prison. The entities engaged in this pattern of conduct while they are a bunch of terrorists that have already been prosecuted through my case that's on the internet. That's what's so pathetic about this demon-possessed gang stalker. I want to be clear, this is a demon-possessed person that's pregnant, and that's very creepy. And she's over here stalking, engaging in surveillance, not tending to her prenatal responsibility. She's over here stalking another woman. That's a closeted homosexual. That's the P.O.C. Put that on the internet. That you're gang stalking. No, thank you. I know that's what you want. No, thank you. I'm not interested. That's exactly why I'm prosecuting you. That's exactly why. That's the pattern of conduct. That's L. Edwards. He's going to prison. He's under the fake sun at the bus stop. He's under the fake sun at Starbucks. Gang stalking with the whole population that's overly concerned about me. You can smile all you want, but everybody knows why you're here and what you're doing, and you're the one that's humiliated. You're the one that's humiliated. You're pathetic. P.O.C. L. Edwards, you know you're going to prison. This is gang violence. This is gang violence. This is the P.O.C. And there is no iteration of stalking that will ever make you look like less of a demon. Less of a demon. That's the pattern of conduct. A whole bunch of gang violence. Say it louder, Staten. Say it louder. Because she's the one that's cussing over here. What are you mad about? While you're stalking, you're mad because you're caught stalking? You already know who I am coming out with your phone out? Because you're a stalker. You're a vagina monitor. And so is L. Edwards. These are the extent to which they go when they're engaged in what is stalking somebody that prosecuted them. If they're not natural born citizens, deport them. If they're in custody of minor children, you're taking custody of them. These are murderers and kidnappers, stalkers. She's not even a heterosexual woman, she's a lesbian. And she's an angry, hostile one while she's being outed for gang stalking another woman that's not interested in you. I don't want you. That's a demon. The demon, that's a possible light. And that's gang violence that they're facilitating. Mike LORENZ is being federally prosecuted. That's P.O.C. That's pattern of conduct. Demons. Okay, that's the P.O.C. There is no iteration of what is gang stalking, harassment, using the duties of an officer, which L. Edwards is not. That's the reason why gang members are being disbanded. They engaged in kidnapping, and they did so pursuant to stalking at Starbucks as well, while they're pacing all around. The fake son that's still here after 4 p.m., pacing all around, monitoring me. And an impregnated homosexual predator is hostile because I'm documenting the fact that she's obsessed with me and stalking me. Yes, demons are going to be very hostile while I embarrass them and tell the truth about them. Satan is engaging in that pattern of conduct as a whole city of demons. That's the P.O.C. And this city of demons that are engaged in this P.O.C., there is no means whereby they can ever defame you. You're hostile because I call you out for what you are, and I'm going to continue to do that. And this is the basis whereby you are going to prison. And while you're in custody of children, you're going to be removed from the access to those children in the same way that ANDCORRUPT is a threat to the developmentally challenged, their own clients that they're bringing to share in criminal conduct. Just like you see out here, that's what they're doing inside. In engineer light, stalking. Holding up your middle finger because I'm documenting you monitoring my vagina does not change the fact that you're monitoring my vagina and you're going to prison behind it. Your obsession with my genitalia. Nobody cares about how humiliated you are. You're the one that thought that you were humiliating me. No, you're the stalker. You are the stalker. That's L. Edwards of the Ontario Police. That's the people of the state, all of them sharing in surveillance. That's how important I am. Holding up your middle finger because you're hostile, because it doesn't matter how many demons there are. You lose, Satan. You lose. P.O.C. This is ANDCORRUPT engaging, OVITT Family Community Library, the people of the state, engaging with that department. 9 UFH 343. C. Gerber is gang stalking in the same parking lot after 6 p.m. All right, the department is gang stalking me when I'm coming from Ontario Airport in where the entity keeps that fake son, and I walk to this venue, and the entity has the fake son while that department is gang stalking right here on Lemon Avenue. The entity is gang stalking me from sunrise until sunset right here at this venue. OVITT Family Community Library, 280 North Lemon Apartments, Ontario Town Square. L. Edwards is doing so, and these are demons that have nothing to lose. That's even an unlawful threat. Because they've lost, and so while they're engaging in terrorism, they're waiting until the moment that they're raided, because they know that they're going to prison for sex trafficking, for conspiring murder, for engaging in domestic terrorism, for stalking with the community. Mike, you have Paul Leon that's being removed from office because this is what a community is doing, and they're doing it with the so-called police department. There is no immunity here. Those demons are being removed from law enforcement, and they're going to prison, every single last one, including L. Edwards, that's committing kidnapping while engaging in this very P.O.C. This is the pattern of conduct. It's 10:09 a.m. This is the entity that's gang stalking as an airport, not flying over the apartment building, flying over here, maintaining presence south over my person, while they are indeed stalking. Okay, there are no airport takeoffs over here that are going to occur under any circumstances. That's letting you know that a homosexual, this is what they do all the time. Homosexual women are getting pregnant all the time. They're demons. They give birth to demon-possessed children. They're hostile while I call them out as stalkers, and those who are obsessed with my vagina in actuality while they live a fake life, getting impregnated by demons themselves. That's what's driving that white Mercedes that she can't afford to pay. She's over here gang stalking me, and you're not getting any energy from that. You're going to prison behind it, in fact. That was harassment by all those license plates that I documented. Criminal surveillance and furtherance of murder. P.O.C. Amazon Prime gang stalking. Ontario Police Department gang stalking. The entity is engaging in that with regard to the pattern of conduct that the City of Ontario is sharing it. It's 10:10 a.m. While the entity is keeping the fake son over me at Safeco Auto LLC, 10:17 a.m. Those gang members are going to federal prison. And this is how all of my evidence is serving to remove every single last one of those gang members sharing in the criminal conduct that L. Edwards is doing with the people of the state. Okay, gang members have no business in law enforcement, and they're not engaged in law enforcement. This is showing the terrorism that they are engaging in, and it's stalking me.
They're all obsessed with stalking me, and that's because they're demons. That's the root of their obsession, and that's the point, the teachable moment behind everything that I've shown within the P.O.C. All right, that's the pattern of conduct. This is what the conduct of the demon-possessed that are exposed for what it is that they thought that they were doing, that they were so elite. There's nothing elite about monitoring vagina. That makes you sex offenders. This is P.O.C.
All right, that is Starla Villalba of the OVITT Family Community Library. That I have her license plate documented in the PDF document. It's basically an ongoing running record regarding my means of identifying the entirety of the OVITT Family Community Library. Every employee, everyone associated with the venue is what would be the substance, and the federal government that's aiding and supplementing my documentation is aware of everybody. But those that I encounter, those that are gang stalking me in my face, those that are sharing in that, doing so with the means to obstruct justice, like Starla Villalba and Brianna, all of the employees that I'm encountering gang stalking me systematically and then receiving a paycheck, they're doing so as employees. That's a systematic means of monitoring. That's prison outside of the kidnapping that they committed with that same agency that is gang stalking me while I'm en route to the front doors. That what L. Edwards is doing with the criminal summoning, that's the use of the vehicle lights. These are demons that are monitoring under the fake sun while they are stalking as a population. That environment, that entity stalking as I move from place to place. The entity doing so while they are monitoring the evidence as well. That's the same, another iteration of the entity doing so with helicopter activity. And I've documented that for a prolonged period as well. The same employees systematically sharing in that pattern of conduct. And in the same way, they follow me as an entity into the bathroom on behalf of that same agency, on behalf of the same gang stalking companies, on behalf of the same municipality. This is the entity that's engaged in that. I want to make sure that I document the employees that are here sharing in that. And it does include Taylor and the entity that's in the bathroom right now, stalking in the bathroom. Going ahead of me is stalking in the bathroom as I am headed toward that private space where the entity is going inside to maintain surveillance on behalf of sex offenders like L. Edwards. The entity's engaging in what is surveillance in that private space, surveillance of my vagina, which the employees, all of whom are systematically engaging in terrorism and furtherance of murder, which is a basis for prison for every single, Rob Strauss, to Sean Thrasher, to Daisy, the kidnappers, those engaging in criminal defamation, those that are reporting to work, those whose name I don't even know. You work in the children's section and you never come out. This is a prosecution of the whole entity. Because they're all cockroaches pacing around an engineer light, keeping me under surveillance, maintaining all four corners of the building, okay, while the entity keeps the fake sun. This is relevant to that. So I want to make sure that I document. And by the way, it is Friday, February 27, 2026. The entity is, I just want to take a step back. Everything that I'm documenting is pursuant to these demons that are merely sore because of the level of evidence that I have regarding the surefire prosecution that is already complete. This is an entity that engages in divination. These are demons that practice witchcraft. This is a government that's engaging in satanic conduct. They are very much aware of the federal government maintaining an ongoing investigation, which they did not believe when I said years ago about what's going to happen to them. They're doing so while companies like ANDCORRUPT and Park are sharing in that criminal conduct, including vagina monitoring in the bathroom, running into the bathroom in front of me in order to maintain that ongoing surveillance. Doing so while the police department are outside. It doesn't get any more glaring with regard to, yes, they are stalking. I've already have that evidence, but the entity's not doing anything other than providing the world a bunch of confirmations regarding the messages that I've been giving you for years. Okay, the demon possessed are in a position where they don't have any choice other than to confirm what they plan to lie about. So L. Edwards is engaging in what is the walk of shame. When the entity is stalking me by helicopter every night and every day, they're engaging in what is that walk of shame, if you will. They know that they're going to prison. They know that they've lost. This was supposed to be some sort of spiritual competition. There's no competition with Christ Jesus. You are not going to wage war with the Lord God and survive it, and you will never be victorious. You're delusional. You are psychotic. You are out of your mind, which I've also proven with tangible evidence regarding your P.O.C, the pattern of conduct. This is what's relevant. So I want to make sure that you are clear. Laugh at everything that they're doing. Laugh at it because this entity is pathetic. They're monitoring the vagina between my legs. You're pathetic. Number one. Number two, there are labels, appropriate labels in reference to the law that you violate while you do that, such as sex offender. All right. Such as also what is a threat to children, pedophiles. What they're doing to me is what they do to minor children. The entities engaging in this pattern of conduct with a police department, with a so-called airport, with companies like ANTHESIS, and OPARC, who are dragging out the developmentally challenged to pace around me under the fake sun. They did that with the police on video. They did that with the airport on video. They did that under the fake sun, the same fake sun that you are looking at on video, like I captured yesterday evening at the same turn circle. And what time was that video captured at? 4:39 p.m. Go ahead, take a good look at it, because the federal court's going to watch it. It is going to be like a cinematic movie that I captured. I took the time and did my due diligence in documenting it, because they're going to prison. They are going to federal prison for unprecedented criminal conduct that has never ever been before proven. And not only is it proven, it is the basis. There's no negotiating. You're going to prison for that. It's proven. I'm not speculating. I'm not hypersensitive. I'm not imagining, and you're not imagining what you're looking at either. Based on this government's pattern of conduct, everybody's mentally ill that's looking at the hard evidence that's published all over my YouTube channel, all over my website, all over my podcast site, what you're listening to. Everybody's mentally ill while you're looking at it and listening to it. That's literally the system that the entity used against me. And I told them then, you're going to prison, and they are. So I want to make sure that this is clear. The entity's engaging in that pattern of conduct, and they're engaging in this as it's evidence of the mental illness that I told you was there from the outset. This is the entity that is miserable, that is hostile, that is engaging in what is ongoing. It's an ongoing concession, but nonetheless, they're engaging in that ongoing pattern of conduct in the face of what is my video. I'm capturing the evidence of what it is you've been doing, and they're doing it because this is relevant to obstruction of justice. They're doing it as demons that are hostile, who are defeated. And I'm referring to what they are. These are the demon possessed, but this is literally the entity. The entity is engaging with our acts of obstruction, fully prosecuted by my YouTube channel, fully prosecuted by my website at thisisthepoc.wordpress.com, fully prosecuted by my podcast, the P.O.C. pattern of conduct. Fully prosecuted by virtue of my ability to break down with regard to any scenario. And you're looking at the ongoing consistent. Nobody's imagining that. And you're not imagining my ability to do that. You were imagining that you were ever above the law, that no one would ever see you, that even if they saw you, you're still going to just call them crazy with both of your eyes open. No, you're going to be committed. That's where you belong. You've belonged there the entire time, projecting your mental illness on other people, living your life as a heterosexual while you're actually a closeted homosexual who was violent, okay, and attacking those women like myself that don't respond or return your perverted and satanic affections that are not welcomed and not consented to. And it's state action. Okay, your obsession with my vagina, you're monitoring my vagina, doing so, including while you're parked in the parking lot of Wells Fargo, pacing around in the engineer like you are monitoring my vagina while they're inside of the building, maintaining surveillance, just like L. Edwards is showing you. This is what they do when they know my panties are down inside of the bathroom, running into the bathroom like the OPARC employees, the ANTHESIS employees. That's what they're doing when the entity is engaged in comprehensive surveillance pursuant to what is corporate invasion of privacy. Terms that you may not be familiar with. That doesn't mean you're not going to prison behind it. I'm here to make sure that you go where you belong. That's what's happening. That's what's been happening. The entity is engaging on video for the world to witness. What is the entity that's hostile, because the entity is already prosecuted. I've done the job. I've done conducted the investigation. I executed my prosecution. And it's going to go in the way in which justice requires. And the one that conducted that investigation regarding criminal activity that the government itself shares in, and that the government itself is not even aware of, both are happening. Okay, I've not only educated, and this is not bragging, this is the reality. This is establishing why justice is going to happen in the way in which the P.O.C. mandates. Because the government is both ignorant, I'm talking about dirty officials, public officials, the federal government, that has they have unclean hands, they do. But at the same time, this is the same federal government that's going to provide justice. And so in many ways, it's I don't want to say it, but almost poetic justice, but not really. But, I'm going to digress on that point right now. And that's not the point right now. The entity has unclean hands, and the entity has also been educated about what is going on in the states. This is also relevant to what justice requires when you are facing this type of corruption by an entity that gets away with public corruption in plain sight, psychological torture in plain sight, sexual violence as an entity in plain sight. This is a lesbian hiding behind a pregnant belly. It happens all the time. Okay, Satan does not have a gender. Satan doesn't have a sexual preference. Satan does not have a race, an income bracket. Satan is a spirit and uses people. This person that is demon possessed outside driving a white Mercedes, that there's so much that you're going to falsely assume about this person, but she's stalking me. Not only is she stalking, she's obsessed with me. She's actually engaged in what is sexually assaulting and battering me. That's how obsessed with me she is. She is obsessed with me, my personality, my appearance, my vagina. And she is sharing in that obsession, which is mixed with a psychopathic concoction of hostility. Hates me, also obsessed with me. The demon possessed that are pregnant and are closeted homosexuals. Obsessed with my vagina, obsessed with my bodily fluids. Okay, hunting them down, running into bathrooms to be next to me while they know I'm physically indisposed. That's what's standing outside gang stalking me with L. Edwards. L. Edwards, which represents a whole department. L. Edwards not only engaged in kidnapping, just want to be clear, 7:15 during daylight savings time. We're in standard time right now, so that would have been 6:15. It is 10 o'clock when I'm capturing. That's 4 hours of the fake sun being over the same street. Okay, at the Starbucks at 503 North Euclid Avenue, 507 North Euclid Avenue, excuse me. And remember, on July 4th, 2025, that fake sun didn't stay over one street. That's why I'm capturing it over where Shannon Dyke is. It's catching every bit of its engagement. Because Shannon Dyke represents the entity. That's why I use the terms I use. It's engagement in the pattern of conduct. And how do you know that? Because that couldn't possibly be the sun over West Valley Detention Center over the top of my head at 12, contrary to what I'm documenting on video for the world to witness. A whole sheriff's department sharing an obsession with a homosexual impregnated female. Together, monitoring me, stalking me. Stalking is born of obsession. You can be as pregnant as you want. You can turn on your vehicle lights all you want. You're stalking. And you're all demons who are stalking. And not only that, what you're looking at, what you're witnessing are the demons that have already been defeated. They've been not only defeated in the spirit, they've been defeated in the physical. The Ontario police know that they are going to prison. They know that. And it's a matter of what I will be entitled to in a courtroom, the fact that even down to the seconds before they're placed in handcuffs, before they are raided, before it's on the news reporting to you, but what I've been reporting, what the P.O.C. has been reporting to you for years, that, and by the way, even when it's on the news, it still will not be 100% truth, okay? But you will, this is not going to be a secret. Before it's on the news, they're engaging they're still, that's Satan. It's like Jason and Freddy Krueger, the antagonists, the murderers. You're already dead. You've been killed. And what happens with Freddy Krueger when he's thrown off the cliff and his body is blown up and he's got knives all in his gut and his hand, and he's been buried, set afire, and then buried under the ground. You always see at the end of the movie, you're dead, you've already lost. And Freddy Krueger is always raising his hand up like no, you're dead. You've been killed 3 times over. That's what the enemy is doing. The enemy is the demon possessed that are targeting me through the U.S. government's pattern of conduct. But this is illustrated through movies that are literally mimicking that spirit. Okay, that is the entity that is very much defeated. They are very much serving real life physical consequences, and they're also still targeting. And I'm also documenting it because I'm going to get justice for that. But that's what they're doing. They're engaging in what I refer to as the walk of shame. Oh, you know you're going to prison and you're still gang stalking before you're going to prison. You are, and they know it. This is the entity that's engaging that. Kathy is psychotic, pacing in and out of the my path, and not stacking books in the library. She's a stalker, an aged one. Okay, should be concerned about her blood pressure, should be concerned about those crusty liver spots, but she's concerned about my vagina, stalking me inside of a bathroom. At that advanced age, very much in need of medical examinations, which she is going to get. She's going to get it. She's not doing that alone, though. She's doing it with L. Edwards outside. So is Starla Villalba. So is Taylor. So is Brianna, the employees that are engaging in the pattern of conduct as employees at this venue. And that's not just OVIT, but that's what I'm capturing. I'm going toward the library. This is relevant to where L. Edwards chose to engage in monitoring me in a conspicuous manner. This is surveillance. That fake sun is over less than 24 hours ago. If that was the sun last night at 4:50 outside of the same library at the same turn circle, then it wouldn't be there at 10 o'clock in the morning where L. Edwards made a decision to conspicuously target me while at the same time telling me to get out of the street. Why? For my safety? While you're simultaneously engaging in psychological torture and stalking me, threatening my safety? This is an entity that engages in that, and while they converse with each other, they keep smirks on their face as though they're talking about me, the one who's out of control. These are all of, again, the superficial means of gang members. Gang members, they are bat poo crazy, and I am the only one that has the evidence to prove that. Everything that they're pointing to, oh, you're mad because I have the evidence of your mental illness literally cataloged. Okay, a repository of evidence. That's what you're hostile about. That's the true substance of why you're even here. While you're trying to maintain a conversation, you're stalking. You're stalking. Okay, there will be created in of the Welfare and Institutions Code a basis of diagnosing the mental illness of the demon-possessed that are gang stalking. They are in no position to defame anyone. You're not conversing about anything other than you're engaging in criminal monitoring, and you're doing it with that department. That department is incriminating any and everything. Everything. The entity's doing so because they are hostile, because they not only lose, they lost badly. Civil and criminal courts. I'm prosecuting it, and you're relevant to not only did you target me, you're targeting the one that's dictating what's going to happen to you. And that's and I'm not bragging, that's on the authority of Christ Jesus I speak. The same authority that gave me the ability to let you know what they're doing before you saw the evidence. I provided you the evidence of what I said beforehand. This is what they're doing. This is what I'm going to prove. This is what I'm going to prosecute for. And this is what's going to happen to them. This is the entity that's engaged in that. So I want to make sure that you understand that, because it's pathetic. And on that basis, everyone should be laughing. You should all be laughing because it's pathetic. You're both pregnant and you're obsessing and drooling over my vagina. And I'm not going to pose the question. I'm being facetious in stating something. Does your baby daddy know that? Of course he does. He's a demon. Her and whoever impregnated her are both demons. And they're all engaging in what is embarrassing criminal activity. The whole operation is exposed. The entire operation. And the demons are hostile to that. They were pacing during the midst of that traffic stop, getting in and out of their cars, driving in that on what is C Street, toward the C Street turn circle. They're all engaging in psychopathic pacing, just like they are inside of the building. That's what I described outside. That's all they're doing inside. Pacing in and out of a bathroom, that's when you're getting to the sex offender. That's when you're getting to detail regarding mental illness that needs to be addressed. Protecting the genitalia of American citizens, protecting the privacy of American citizens. From those like L. Edwards, Brianna, Starla, Kathy, Taylor, the employees at the OVITT Family Community Library, venues like Wells Fargo, establishments like Downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments, sharing in massive surveillance that doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't even make any sense that you're stalking to that degree. This is an entity that is demon-possessed. That's why you have that. Satan is the one that wants every second, every move, every aspect of everything, including your heartbeat. Satan is monitoring. With regard to my essence that you worship, that's not a compliment. And what would be preferred is that you have some manners while you've been humiliated for doing what you thought you were going to get away with, and you don't have any manners. So do not complain about the way in which I will drag you for coming against me in the first place. You don't have any authority, no basis, no right. You clearly have no law on your side. You have no sense. You lost your mind. While you're outside having no legitimate point, you're not even supposed to be there. You're stalking. Everything about what you're doing on video is the elements of, they're all stalking. Every single last, and that's what I'm pointing out. Laugh at Satan because it's pathetic. All right, that's what I want to make sure that that's clear. It's 10:35 a.m. This is an entity that's doing so with regard to what is hostility toward the level of humiliation and toward the level of defeat. And that is, again, I'm not interested in some victory lap at this point. This is relevant to what is establishing at all times and informing at all times federal policy. These are the terrorists that are in need of very serious federal law in order to deal with that level of a threat that American citizens have a right to be informed of and to protect themselves from. They don't have any privacy on the internet. They don't have any privacy with regard to where they live, engaging in the pattern of conduct. Be prepared to be raided. Be prepared for Homeland Security to come exactly where because they know exactly where you're at, gang stalking me. That's not a private property. You fully expose yourself engaging in the government's P.O.C. And that's a return to sender, honey. That's a return to sender. Put it in the unbelievers' terms. I don't practice witchcraft. Put it in your terms. That's a return to sender. You don't have authority to exercise any witchcraft over somebody that is operating in Christ Jesus. I'm walking in the authority given to me, minding my business, and I will prosecute you profusely and call you out for exactly what you are, and I will not mince words. That's not my job as a prosecutor. It is currently 10:36 a.m. This is an entity engaged at OVITT Family Community Library is the crime scene. So at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when everybody's sitting in the library, talking to their little kids, running up to the desk behind me, sitting at the computers around me, walking in and out, pacing, holding hands and talking, looking at all they're doing is stalking. They're the mentally ill. And it's psychotic. This is P.O.C. That's what you're mindful of. That's what you're learning about. Satan is a spirit, and he is deceptive. But what you are learning is that the truth of Scripture, the holy word of God, the Lord God himself, who says that his word will last forever. He honors his word, and it's 1000% true. Satan is like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. There's meaning behind every word that is in that statement, and in anything. We use words to convey ideas to make sure that we're understood, right? But there's a reason why it's stated in the way in which it's stated. Satan is like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. That's a permissive term, may. Seeking, meaning not even aware of who he can. He's looking out to find out who can be susceptible, who will succumb to it, who can he get at. He's like a roaring lion if you're deceived by it. If you don't know what you're looking at, if you don't know what you're dealing with, if you don't know your creator, if you're not armed with the word of God, covered by the Holy Spirit, filled with the Holy Spirit, walking in the power of the Holy Spirit. That's it. Good morning, Brianna. How's it going? Have a good day. This is the entity that's engaging in that level of what is a criminal conduct that's going back to reflect on them. It's reflecting on them, and that's, again, their own witchcraft that is reflecting poorly on them. Okay? These are sex offenders obsessing over the genitalia of other people. These are the demon-possessed, the Nephilim, that are engaged in that. Brianna is sharing in the pattern of conduct with a physically handicapped sex offender who's going into the men's restroom while they are surrounding the women's restroom. Timing about when I'm going to stop speaking on my podcast. Brianna's a sex offender. Okay, she's going to be federally prosecuted. She's being federally prosecuted. She's already in that formal process. Do you know what's happening? The feds are going to come in following what it is that I'm publishing on the internet. They are at attention. This is just the reality. I don't have a point to prove. I did not ask to be targeted. This is not my doing. I'm literally doing what I was told to do upon realizing what I was subject to. And guess what the demon-possessed are doing? They're doing what they're told to do as well. And it is relegated to what is failure in your mission, exposure, and your identity, what you are, and the threat that you pose as I serve for the criminalization of demonic activity in the United States of America. All right, it's currently 10:39 a.m. These are vagina monitors taking position in the male restroom and Brianna going into the employee restroom. Just want to be clear, Sean Thrasher, that's engaged in criminal summoning at 11 o'clock in the morning in February of 2022. He's going to federal prison. Okay, this is the entity that's engaged in the pattern of conduct for a term of years, and they're still monitoring my vagina. And everything that's on the record, there's no expiration date. There's no statute of limitations. It's a day of reckoning. That's what's happening. Okay, they're still keeping it under surveillance. They're still obsessing, and they are engaging in what is stalking and monitoring their own oncoming demise, like a semi-truck that they can't stop. It's coming for them. And that's just the way that it is. That's just the reality. I just want to make sure that everybody is aware of what you're looking at. I know you are aware that you're looking at someone exposing and prosecuting, but I want you to take a bigger picture type of mindset. Take a step back and look at the whole forest. That's what I'm giving you, a bigger picture. This is Satan that's losing badly and engaging. What does Satan know how to do? Satan doesn't know how to do anything other than lose. He doesn't have, contrary to what he would like for you to think, he doesn't have any other position other than that. And that is the truth with regard to those who follow him, who walk with him, operating in authority, God-given authority. And that's why the entity is engaged in this foolish conduct. It's prosecutorial suicide, serving my purposes. All right, walking in obedience to what I said is going to happen. It's 10:41 a.m. OVITT Family Community Library is located at 215 E.C. Street in Ontario, California. This is the P.O.C.
We're switching. It's 10:55 a.m. Hi, Jennifer. Can I get some disinfectant wipes, please?
Jennifer's gang stalking with L. Edwards of the Ontario Police Department.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Good morning, Alexander. How are you? Hi, Miss Mary. Bly, how are you?
They're all gang stalking in furtherance of murder with OPARC. OPARC is representing a company. OPARC's targeting with Starbucks as well. I have them on the record gang stalking me at Starbucks. This is very demented, very weird. Why these companies with the developmentally challenged are gang stalking me? This is relevant to their failed witchcraft. If you stalk me with those that are mentally incompetent, then it's very sick conduct. It's straight up criminal, and it's also very sick. While the mentally ill are in positions that they are unfit to hold, this is the ongoing embarrassment regarding what has never been witchcraft. They're demon-possessed people. So this is the entity that's being embarrassed while they've engaged in exposed tactics regarding state targeting. Okay, so this is the OPARC has a history of gang stalking, and that's at Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue as well. Engaging in surveillance inside of that venue where the entity maintained conspicuously the fake sun over that Starbucks, and OPARC engaging also. Then I documented this already. Then OPARC would follow me to the library, and it's proof of you following me because that fake sun is remaining over me. So you're not ignorantly going to the same places that I'm going to, including when you drive there faster than I'm walking there. When you're engaging what is keeping me under surveillance on a day-to-day basis, OPARC is going to be federally prosecuted, and not only for targeting me, but also this is a basis for prosecuting that company for violating Welfare and Institutions Code, and they're doing so with regard to the clients that are gang stalking because of that company bringing them here to do so. This is relevant to OVITT Family Community Library employees going to prison. All right, the OPARC employees also, that's basis of federal prison. And hi. Do you mind if I get one more disinfectant wipe? They gave me a couple up there. Looks like all your computers are full. Oh, wow, this is fascinating.
Yeah, I know.
So popular.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Do you have any open?
So we don't have any desktops open, but we do have the laptops. If
You
you're
do have the
interested.
laptops?
Yeah.
Okay.
They function the same way, obviously, but just not. They don't feel the same way because it's like a no mouse and keyboard. Or it has a keyboard, but it has a trackpad, so no mouse.
Oh, I'm familiar with the laptops.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we do have but they do function the same way as the computers and everything.
What do you mean, function the same way?
Like they have the same functionality, like printing, internet, all that stuff.
Oh, the same access. is what
Same
you're
access
saying.
stuff,
I have
yeah.
the same access. Yeah, no, that's not the point. The desktop is obviously more useful, and that's also relevant to targeting.
If you want to hang out, I do know some people were just here to print, so some people might leave a little.
Oh, they're just here to print?
Yeah, some people. So yeah,
okay.
if you want to hang out, but in the meantime, if you want to get a laptop, you can just hang out and wait. But I could let you know when the next computer is available, because I know some people. Let me check out the set.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, no problem.
These are all gang stalkers filling up all the computers from 1 to 11. While they're leaving one exposed, remember that's steering. That's where they want me to sit. Okay? This is the entity that's... Thank you. This is OPARC that's coming in and engaging in that pattern of conduct, and this is the entity that's, remember, while I'm in here at 4 in the evening, the entity is also aiming engineer light. Well, a bunch of mentally ill people, both the clients of OPARC and the OPARC employees themselves, they're both mentally ill. This is special needs. These are the demon-possessed that are gang stalking me together while they're witnessing me expose them and prosecute them under the Welfare and Institutions Code. The entities engaging in that pattern of conduct, that's called steering. Okay? Taking up all the computers so that there's only one that you can sit at, or they're all filled up, and then when you go and ask about it, which I only ask questions that I know the answer to because I'm documenting, John is engaged in gang stalking with L. Edwards. So this is the entity that's engaged in that, and they're doing so while they're all sitting up watching me put the evidence on the internet. It doesn't matter what computer I sit on. It doesn't matter how long you sit here gang stalking in the library. You're going to prison. Your criminal record will be public information. Everything that you committed while you were doing that and the knowledge that you maintained while doing it is also going to be known. People are not ignorant about any facet of this pattern of conduct, and it's all going to be something that is going to bear and change the trajectory of your life, if you're not going to be deported out of this country, which is a means of affecting your life as well. But nonetheless, this is the entity that's engaged. This is pathetic. Okay, this is another picture of the demon-possessed that are pathetic. You are not a winner, as you can see, based on numerosity. Okay, you are literally conceding to being inferior while you are gang stalking anybody. And gang stalking perioders are a bunch of losers who are teaming up together. And what you have seen is that Satan has teamed up to lose publicly also. Okay, Satan's going by company names like OPARC, Anthesis. Satan's going by names such as the U.S. government that's gang stalking the city of Ontario. Satan is literally going by the name L. Edwards, so the Ontario Police Department. Satan's going by the name of the employees inside. This is a spirit that's utilizing the people. They're all in the engineer light. You're mindful of the entity that has engineer light flying inside of this library while everybody's sitting at a computer. You know, the library, this is the federal RICO case. Where I go, business accumulates. That's also why they're not maintaining any profits. Starbucks is profiting off of gang stalking me. All the demons, Starbucks is empty. And the moment that I go to any venue, I go to Starbucks and it is filled up. Well, you would associate that with the popularity of Starbucks, and that is not the case. It's business that's ongoing under the fake sun, and you're not retaining those profits. Okay, it's literally blood money. So the entities engaging in this pattern of conduct with regard to targeting me. Okay, and everybody's using a computer with regard to stalking me. It's also a concession, which is disgusting, regarding the demons that are obsessed with me. While they engage in psychotic behavior, loser type conduct, it's inevitable. What's already happened. This is not going because of my might and my determination. It's already written. It's going to happen. Period. And it's going to happen to you. These are demons these are the dead. These are the self-detrimental, self-destructive, suicidal tendencies of the demon-possessed that are doing things like gang stalking people. It's pathetic. Okay, but nonetheless, I just want to document that. These are the employees that are engaging in that. All the computers. He's trying to defend the fact that the laptops are. That's not the point. It's the principle. Everybody in here on the computer desktop, which is evidence of presence, are engaged in gang stalking, and they're all here because of me. They're all under the fake sun. You're not doing anything, and there is no iteration of anything other than that. That's going to supersede in court. And it's the same thing when you're performing open heart surgery under the fake sun. You will be federally prosecuted. The entity thinks that because of their identity or because of how important. See how important this is? There's a car accident here, and we have to get these people into it. You're gang stalking. You will be prosecuted. Period. And everybody sees you, Satan, because that's literally what Satan does. Satan does not care about these demons that are self-destructive and suicidal, will engage in what is putting themselves in harm's way, such as crashing into each other to create what is a basis of criminal summoning. And that's because in your mind, you're supposed to think, oh, nobody would ever do that. You're not that important that there would be an intentional collision. What you think this is about, that's the entity that's making those implied statements subconsciously to your mind. There is no rebutting the pattern of conduct. It's impossible. You will never account for what is that light source, and you are not ignorantly engaging in that. And it's not just the environment, it's the demons that do so. When I'm in Azusa, California, where I have not been in years, and the fake sun is over your house, I hope you understand you're going to be federally prosecuted. Okay? These are roaches inside of a building scattering in all manner of directions. Gang stalking. The roaches. And they do that pertaining to my vagina, running into the bathroom while the Ontario International Airport is flying over the building. I showed you the proof of that. That's exactly what's happening. All right, doing so while the entity is stalking with light activity. I've shown you that by the city of Ontario, by third-party sex offenders like Vector, engaging in terrorism like third parties Convergent, while the entity's engaging. This is what the entity is going. The Leonida Builders, Brightview. The Budget, all these third-party companies that are the United States Postal Service, FedEx, surrounding the venue with light activity while they're monitoring my vagina, running in and out of the bathroom. And really what you're looking at as an entity, this is the spirit of Satan that has possessed an entire population that is mentally ill, so that's being exposed, and that is criminal, it's corrupt, that's being exposed, and they hold all manner of positions that they are unfit to be in, such as those that you can hear monitoring in the background under the fake sun that's still here at 4:50 in the evening, while you hear them hoping that you listen to them and that you don't believe what I'm saying. But again, that's not how facts operate. Nonetheless, those are demons, okay? The entities engaging in that pattern of conduct and in that specific environment, you are engaging in that P.O.C. And what I've shown you is that you are able to recognize the illusion that will never supersede or overrule over facts. Satan cannot deal with facts. Satan will bring in more and more iterations of the same conduct because he cannot deal with facts. Satan will have more and more supposedly important people, such as somebody that has certain letters behind their name, MD, RN. You are not important. I just want to be clear. There's no respect of persons with regard to this equal opportunity engagement in the federal prosecution of the U.S. government. It's equal opportunity. Okay? There is no such thing. They're demons. Period. And the evidence is the proof of that. It is only Satan that tries to cloak himself in different disguises. And you are always able to recognize it. They're company names. While the U.S. government, they are departments of government. They are cities and counties, as I've shown you. They are states, as my evidence also shows you. When you're looking at the bigger picture, the state of California versus the state of Nevada. What's over my hotel, over my head at 7:50 in the morning when I'm at Courtyard by Marriott in Las Vegas? And that fake sun stayed there until I checked out at 12:08 p.m. This is during the summer of 2024. What is it that's remaining there while these demons that are working with a gang stalking company that is abusing the developmentally challenged and making money off of it? What is about that environment is going to make you be distracted because they're talking loudly and laughing in the background? It's called activity creation. That's what it is. This is the entity that's engaged in that, and they are very much indeed consumed with what it is that I'm saying and what I'm doing and concerned with my vagina. And there are labels for that. It is called sex offender. Satan is the spirit of sexual violence. Satan is that ongoing spirit of corruption and criminal activity. That malice, that's a spirit. It's of the devil. Okay? And you have a population of infected people, not just physically infected with STDs because of their promiscuity, which is of a spirit, but I mean infected with regard to the sickness of their minds to even engage in it. Okay, this is the pattern of conduct. It's 11:07 a.m. I wanted to document those that are engaging in that. They're inside of the administration area of the OVITT Family Community Library. They pace in and out of that administration door, monitoring every move I make. That's how important I am. And the facts do not change. There's nothing that you can do. There's no box, no book, no DVD, no group that you can entertain and speak to, no meeting that you're having that's changing that. This is what Satan cannot cope with. It does not change. What they are showing you is that there's no exception with regard to the pattern of conduct, and that's what you're learning. It is a black and white formula. All right, this is P.O.C. You do have Lindsay that's here as well. Lindsay was here yesterday morning engaging in psychotic conduct. The entities amplifying plane activity from the airport that's supposed to be taken off from the terminals, which is not going to be heard inside of this library if it was not gang stalking me, in concert with these demons associated with companies like OPARC and Anthesis. It doesn't matter how loud you laugh. It's not changing. It's a loud, obnoxious vagina monitor. That's it. It's pathetic. And that's why they get the commentary. That's why they get the level of analysis that they do, because it's the truth about them. They do this to people that are not equipped, that are easily overcome and intimidated and fear-stricken, and they do so, and I have a particular level of disgust and disdain for that. Cowards, okay? Liars. This is an entity that engages in that, and they do the same thing with regard to being in the medical field, feeling though you're powerful over the developmentally challenged, while they spiritually attack them, and then gang stalk them. But don't get me wrong, I also want to let you know, I mean to break your heart, but the truth is that their clients that are coming in that are developmentally challenged are equally demon possessed, stalking me with light, stalking with noise, and it's in a person's body that appears to be, their special needs, they're mentally ill. That is their physical infirmity, and their same condition is relevant to the P.O.C. Now, a facilitator like Anthesis and OPARC, they're going to be dealt with under physical law. You're bringing them around. They're not driving over here to come gang stalk me. That's these demons that are a corrupt company, a third-party company that's bringing their clients. They're receiving money from them. They have a responsibility under the Welfare and Institutions Code. They have represented themselves engaging in a particular purpose and intent, and they're directly rebutting that with evidence while I am showing you the pattern of conduct underway via Anthesis. Being next to the Ontario Police Department vehicle of L. Edward, it doesn't get any more beautiful with regard to my prosecutorial purposes. It's called malice. Psychopaths have no business in any area of the medical field. And as I've also shown, they have no business in law enforcement. They have no business in the legal field. All right? They have no business around children. All areas I've shown are targeting me. All right, it's currently 11:10 a.m. The entity is engaging in that, doing so with the airport, that's a sex offender, the police department, that's a sex offender, the municipality, the mayor, the city hall, while they're running in and out of the bathroom. These are the demons that are more focused on my genitalia and more focused on gang stalking me, and I'm prosecuting them. It's very sad what the entity has done to itself, thinking that while they were obsessively consuming me, thinking that you're doing it to yourself. Paulion is engaged in that pattern of conduct in relevant position by virtue of his office, by virtue of that building, that venue, by virtue of the municipality sharing in the pattern of conduct. You already know what the city of Ontario is doing. You know what the Ontario International Airport is doing. So does he. So does that office maintain a reasonable responsibility to know. You're not staying in office under any circumstances. But it's even more direct than that. But I'm giving what is the legal argument, and you're giving what is the rationale behind such policies. All right, it's 11:11 a.m. It is February 27, 2026. This is the entity that's engaging in ongoing stalking. And what you're mindful of is when they have gone on with the rest of their day, the entity is engaging in what is shift taking. One after another, pacing in and out of the building, pacing in and out of the doorways. Engineer light flying inside of the building. The fake sun remains until the end of the day. And all that Anthesis is doing is stalking. And 6 hours from now, that's exactly what the evidence shows that they were doing, stalking. Okay, and they are nothing other than the entity, one person after another, one face after another, which are the demon possessed. Satan is a spirit using the multiplicity of faces. Okay, and with regard to prosecuting that, the public entity is utilizing the multiplicity of faces vicariously stalking in the path. They did so together in a manner that you can conspicuously witness, while the Ontario Police Department, that is the state, is engaging in criminal monitoring with the people of the state who are sharing and fully exposed mental illness. They literally share their mental illness. It's psychopathic pacing under the fake sun amongst the engineer light. You're talking about a field day for medical professionals. Having a field day with regard to diagnosing, committing, because that's relevant to the pattern of conduct for criminal conduct of the gang stalker. But this is P.O.C. It's currently 11:12 a.m. This is all the entity is doing. It's sitting around stalking me. That's the P.O.C.
This is Ontario Police making sure that they are seen stalking, flying over while I'm at the entrance upon my exit. This is that ambush conduct that the Ontario International Airport engages in while I exit the grocery store, where the entity is stalking with the fake sun. You'll see in my documentation, this is where the fake sun set. This is the conduct that El Estrada is engaging in, stalking with the people of the state. All those demons, all those license plates, they're going to federal prison, engaging in terrorism and stalking and harassment with demons that are going to prison. This is the conduct of suicidal people that have no business in law enforcement, engaging in what is ongoing desperate criminal activity when they don't have a reputation. Their reputation is being vagina monitors. Doing so with sex offenders that are made such under the age of majority. Being embarrassed on the worldwide internet, showing that they're not engaged in any sort of witchcraft. They're just demons. That's what's flying over me at the OVITT Family Community Library. Putting all these demons in here in prison as well. Okay, but I just want to be clear. I'm documenting what they're doing. Last night, flying over my head, engaging in that conduct when they know that they're going to prison. I'm walking out today, flying over my head, stalking and harassing. They know they're going to federal prison. This is going to be played in federal court. 9WEA 830 is threatening with that police department, that's prison. And this is light activity, 9FJX 631. While the entity's flying all around, these are the demons that are engaging in that conduct. This is a psychopath who is stalking me and looking all around like she's stupid, while the demon gets out to put a book in the book drop. This is what Kelly Blacken is doing at 9 o'clock in the morning, and there's nothing funny about having a camera in your face. That's a demon. That's a P.O.C. These are the demons there's nothing gangster about this. These are murderers, vagina monitors, sex offenders, pedophiles, rapists, and this is the ongoing prosecution, the implosion of that enterprise. And they're being embarrassed. When the demon possessed, the psychopath, Satan himself, is embarrassed, he just engages in more treacherous conduct. That's exactly why they're going to be dealt with martial law. That's exactly why. They're not making any point other than, we lost and I'm going to keep on doing it while we're embarrassed. I don't care. That's how the entity is going out. They're going out in a blazing fire. Literally, this is the P.O.C. There's the fake moon. The mentally ill monitoring my vagina. That includes Yesenia Rivas. It includes Abigail, the entity that's gang stalking, pacing all day long. Alexander Grigg, the entity engaging that with Mary Bly. These are the employees that are going to prison while they're engaging in what is an ongoing ceremonious walk of shame, while you're doing nothing other than providing evidence putting the city of Ontario on the map, removing the mayor from office, federally prosecuting him, the vagina monitor, the chief himself, Mike Lorenz, and the people of the state that are gang stalking, engaging in what is assault with a deadly weapon while these minors are gang stalking with the police department. Okay, that's the pattern of conduct. The entities engaged in that, this is psychopathic pacing. They share in mental illness. This is pacing on the ground, and that's the department pacing around me. I am the focal point. I'm also the one that conquered all the demons. These are the losers, and this is what losers do. They're being committed behind this same conduct. They're not winning anything. They're going to be committed behind that very conduct. El Estrada is going to be subject to mental examinations behind this very conduct. That's what the reward is. This is the P.O.C. This, you're showing what are the mentally ill that have no route to victory, and it certainly is by engaging in the same gang stalking. There's nothing triumphant about that. It's pathetic. This is the entity 9TOK058, stalking, psychopath, license plate 9NJB782. Gang stalking, and I believe that's the demon from Woodside Senior Apartments, already subject to federal prison. This is the P.O.C. This is how important I am, coming and engaging in what isn't a lap around, flying over the top of my head while demons are pacing across the street, gang stalking, and doing so while they want to experience being prosecuted by myself, Erica Spencer. That's what the demon-possessed want to experience. And it's going to include what is a federal prosecution for terrorism. This is the mentally ill. These are not normal people. They're demons. So what they're doing is spiritually significant. It's demonic activity, and this is the prosecution of demons that are going to be federally prosecuted for terrorism. All right, and that's a department that's not going to exist anymore. You're looking at them leading in gang violence. I'm going to prosecute that entire department for it. P.O.C. It is currently 5:41 p.m. Look at what I published on YouTube today, February 27, 2026. This is relevant to the entity engaging what is flying a lap over me, which is a federal offense. The entities engage in that while they're hostile, and it's a federal offense. I'm going to prosecute them for that. And every other documented incident regarding terrorism. P.O.C. It is currently 5:42 p.m. These are the demons with no license plate, engaging in surveillance outside of the bathroom with that same department. I'm documenting the male engaging in surveillance inside of the bathroom, outside of the bathroom while I'm walking out, the entity that's tracking my steps. This is all the documentation that I have. It's on the Google Drive, step by step. All right, this is the P.O.C. It is currently 5:42 p.m. That's gang stalking. And look what the government's doing it with. Minor children. And they literally do it with minor children as well. They're pedophiles in the same way that they gang stalk with minor children. And these are minor children that are not doing so to a stranger. This is the demon possessed that are over and under majority, engaging in the same pattern of conduct with the government that is stalking, flying now beside the senior center in the same way they were flying over Bethel Congregation and flying over El Pescado when I'm walking on Lemon Avenue, walking off of Euclid Avenue, stalking. And all those license plates. That's exactly why they're published on the internet, so that the entity is aware that domestic terrorists in the state of California in the U.S. are under the age of 18. The U.S. government and the people of the state are engaging in domestic terrorism with minor children in the same way that they are pedophiles, violent sex offenders that engage in sexual activity with minor children. Yes, that is literally the nexus. Gang stalking with minor children, sexual activity with minor children. The entities engaging in that with the government, the Ontario International Airport, which is stalking, and you saw the Ontario Police Department targeting me as I walk out of this same library today, punctuating the fact that L. Edwards is going to prison, engaging in what is ongoing harassment and terrorism, stalking to their own demise. To their own demise. While you watch a police department have a hissy fit, engage in terrorism while they're having a hissy fit, they're going to prison for it. And they're going to be treated like hissy fits are appropriately treated in federal prison. Okay? This is the P.O.C. It is currently 7:32 p.m. The Ontario Senior Center, where the entity is flying over, everybody in that building is a gang stalker. At any apartment building where the entity is flying over it, outside of what are the operations, the legitimate operations of an airport, which the city hall that houses the headquarters for the mayor is aware of, while that office is also one of the venues that the entity is flying over outside of the operations of an airport, where that mayor's office is the specific environment where the fake sun and the fake moon are over me, where the entities operating outside of the operations of a legitimate airport and stalking as a police department. They're doing so as a demon-possessed entity that targets with minor children that know exactly what it is that they're doing and who they're doing it to. And that's exactly why they will be federally prosecuted in California, in the U.S. for federal group stalking and monitoring. It is not going to be limited to the age of majority. You see the ease with which they're engaging in psychological torture. They walk into the bathroom. Those same demons are predators under the age of majority. And that is the malice behind the entity that is intentionally gang stalking with minors, by the way. This is P.O.C. It's that mature spirit that is using those that are minors, those that are under the age of majority, and that's a deliberate and malicious pattern of conduct that terrorists like the Ontario Police Department utilize. Okay, this is P.O.C. It is currently 7:33 p.m. where the entity is stalking me. Here's a shadow here. Here's another shadow. Now I can show you a clear one here and a clear one here. They're stalking. This is P.O.C. Look at their shadows. This is the agency that the people of the state are. They're third parties. Pay attention to their shadows. And this is pacing. This is pacing. The purpose of what they're doing is creating light activity, and they're doing it at the same time they begin walking, talking, sounding. They're monitoring, stalking me the whole time. They are deliberately at the same time flying over and walking by, and this is mentally ill, psychopathic behavior while they're stalking as a people, outwardly conducting themselves as they're out just taking a walk, just chilling, not even aware, ignorant about me, not paying attention. You would never guess that a young group of white males are stalking a black woman, but they are. And they're doing so with the government. And they're engaging in that pattern of conduct. Everything is in sync. Everything is deliberate. The fake moon is right here over my head. This is indeed the P.O.C. And that's exactly what they executed with minor children earlier. And this is what the Ontario Police Department is engaging in. This is the pattern of conduct. It's currently 8:40 p.m. That's the Ontario International Airport that is being shut down. Securitas has been engaged in surveillance right over here. With the lights off, engaging in what is surveillance in relevant position. They are doing so at that's the Ontario City Hall, where they are monitoring. You'll see in the images that I took earlier where the entity is gang stalking by the airport, and then I take pictures of Securitas, which is on the golf cart over here, lurking in the dark. And it is lurking. It's the pattern of conduct. That's not a security guard that's engaged in any constitutionally protected conduct. They're engaging in criminal surveillance while employed with a third-party company that's engaging in surveillance with the city of Ontario, the state of California. And as I take a picture of this location of Securitas, immediately the light inside of the City Hall building comes on. That's monitoring. Okay? It's demonic. And that's regarding the haunted house that is the Ontario City Hall. It's Friday night, and the entity is engaging what is monitoring me, as they are aware of everything that I'm doing on my device. And with regard to monitoring, in the direction that I'm pointing my camera, immediately a light comes on inside of the Ontario City Hall. Just ongoing relevant information regarding the pattern of conduct that the people of the state are engaging in. They're stalking together. It's P.O.C. It's currently 8:41 p.m.